first read about Tamar Manasseh in, I think it was October of 2016. I subscribed to a newsletter from the Jewish Telegraphic Agency where they just cull stories from around the Jewish world and on a daily basis and send out this email. And there was an article, and the title of the article was Black Rabbinical Student Leads Army of Moms Against Gun Violence in Chicago. I thought, oh, this looks pretty interesting. And at the top of the article, there's a picture of this striking woman named Tamar Manasseh. And I go on to read about the organization that she created called MASK, Mothers and Men Against Senseless Killing, and the work that she was doing to combat gun violence on the south side of Chicago. What really grabbed me from this article was where Tamar credited her Judaism for her activism. She said, if I wasn't a Jew, I wouldn't do this. I wouldn't know how to do this. I wouldn't know that I need to do this. And I could feel her from this piece. And I knew immediately, one, that she was extraordinary, and two, that I wanted to make a film about her. So, I had no idea how to get in touch with her. But fortunately, we live in a time where people are accessible because we can go to their website or go to their Facebook page or whatever. And that's what I did. I tried to track her down digitally. I sent an email to her organization's website and I introduced myself as a documentary filmmaker in New York City. I said, I read this article and I'd like to talk to you about the possibility of making a documentary film. And after a few days, I got a response, and it was from Tamar, and she wrote, I got your email. Thank you for your interest. I think my life is about as interesting as watching the paint dry, so I'm going to pass. And I wrote back and I said, with all due respect, I disagree with your self-assessment. And can we just talk? Can we just have a conversation? So that started this on again, off again correspondence between us. And the on part was me reaching out to her, and the off part was her not always responding to me. But she responded just enough that I didn't give up. And then we spoke on the phone and we talked for about an hour. And I remember hanging up and saying to my wife, like, she's even more incredible than I had originally thought. And I really kept this fire on low burning that I had to make a film about her. And then one day I got a message from Tamar on Facebook Messenger, and she said, I'm in Staten Island. I can meet you right now. And I live on the Upper West Side of Manhattan. And if you know New York City geography a little bit, Staten Island is not very close to the Upper West Side. But I responded to her. I said, give me 2 hours and I'll be there. And I dropped what I was doing and I drove out to meet her in Staten Island. And we sat down and we had a conversation for a couple of hours. And one of the things that we bonded about was that we both had attended Jewish day school as young people. And once she told me that she went to Jewish day school, I said to myself, okay, I know exactly who you are. And that sort of gave us this common language. And at the end of the conversation, she kind of shrugged her shoulders and she looked at me and she's like, I guess if you want to make this film, we can do it this coming summer. And that was it. That was what I needed to get going. And that was the first film, like I said, called They Ain't Ready for Me. I filmed going back and forth between New York and Chicago for an entire summer, and then some. And it was amazing. And she was an amazing subject. And I knew from the first day of shooting that she would be an amazing subject. So the day before I flew out to Chicago, I called Tamar just to confirm, or 2 days before, just to shore up our plans. And I had a really early morning flight into O'Hare, which was my first mistake because I didn't know anything about the geography of Chicago. And I'm flying as inexpensively as possible. I flew to O'Hare Airport, but Tamar lives nowhere near O'Hare Airport. She lives near Midway. So I was on the phone with her and I said, I'm getting in really early. Can I come to you at about 10? And she's like, well, I was thinking about maybe the early afternoon. And I said, well, if it's okay, then I'll come to you. I'll put a microphone on you. I'll have a camera person. You don't need to look at me. You don't need to talk to me. I just want you to get comfortable with the idea of me in your world. And she said, okay, that's fine. Then you come at 10 o'clock. So at 10 o'clock, I knock on her door. She opens the door and she says, let's go sit on the back porch. Camera's rolling. She starts talking. 2 hours later, we stop rolling. And I knew this is going to go great. She's so comfortable. She is so secure in who she is. And her ideas are so accessible to her. I knew that she would make a great subject for a film. And I never had any doubt that she would be able to hold a viewer's attention for a full 90 minutes.